guys, welcome to Power Rangers Week. Uh, Today I would like to tell you about some of the most controversial aspects of the Power Rangers series. A little behind the scenes and not so behind the scenes things that happened to this series in its long and strange run. Number 5, the changing teams. Well, for the first couple of seasons, hell, all the way until Space, the teams had generally been the same. We've had one or two people changing out ranger positions. But it was at this point when ranger teams were beginning to change every year. Now, this was really something to be worried about if you grew up watching Rangers, as it could have very well made or broke the series. Who wants to say every year we get a whole new group of people who we have to completely introduce, and we have to completely give origin stories and backstories and all this stuff too. But ultimately, it didn't kill the series like a lot of people thought it would. In fact, they actually found ways of mending this using team-ups episodes, which brought together 2 or 3 or whatever teams, and they would fight each other usually, or fight together to defeat some common goal. Number 4, my bad. The Disney buyout. Now, Disney is one of the biggest companies around. They've bought up Marvel, they've bought up Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Pixar. Disney likes to buy up big, child-friendly groups that are profitable. This is pretty early, but they bought Power Rangers, and a lot of people feared that it was going to be way too childish compared to the kind of dark route that had been going these last couple of years, getting more and more mature and a lot better written. Well, they were halfway right. Some seasons weren't so bad. I thought Ninja Storm, the first season to be really Disneyized, was pretty good. In fact, it's one of my favorites. But in the end, it kind of killed it with Operation Overdrive and RPM, and it just began to become monotonous, and I tuned out, and I know many people also tuned out. But eventually, Saban would buy back his product and promote Power Rangers again and bring us Samurai and Super Megaforce, and things were good again. Power Rangers S.P.D. Wasn't all that different from Time Force, to tell you the truth. But one of the first things we saw in this series was the Alpha Team, who were borrowing the helmets from Power Rangers in Space. And the team the main heroes, the Rangers want to be just like these guys, because these guys get the best missions and the best stuff and everything, but, eventually Rangers go on a rescue mission to get these folks, and the red helmet gets taken off, and it's a girl. Go Ranger! Go Red Ranger! Oh, we're gonna really good. No, basically, Disney fought to make sure that this character would not be a woman. This is weird. It seems unnecessary. But it's the first time we ever got a female Red Ranger. And, sexism is still around, whether or not we think so. I'd be okay with a Red Ranger as a main leader. I mean, we kind of got that with the Pink Time Force Ranger. Just saying. Number 2. Racism. Racism was a big problem back in the day when the Mighty Morphin first came around. We had pretty, whitewashed team, except for the Yellow and Black Rangers. The Yellow Ranger was played by an Asian woman, and the Black Ranger was played by an African-American male. This drew a lot of controversy, as you would expect. 'Cause skin color and a regular color, they mean something, depending on what they are. A lot of people thought that this was, racial profiling, and it kind of was. It was. Eventually this was changed to, the Black Ranger became an Asian man, and the Yellow Ranger became an African-American woman. And to this day, they've kind of kept those two separate. The most controversial aspect of the Power Rangers ever is about a certain Blue Ranger named Billy. Now, growing up, when me and my friends have joked around, we knew what gay was before we knew what gay was because of the Blue Ranger. It's kind of a mean statement, but apparently, back in the day, I believe his name was Billy Yost, was the actor. He stayed on the series forever, and he was given less and less screen time, and it makes sense why. After the gay thing came out, and this was a couple years ago. This whole thing came out where he explained what happened behind the scenes, but apparently he was mocked and ridiculed quite often by the cast and crew, and even told that he could never be a real superhero because he was gay. This is very, very controversial stuff, and this is stuff that burns through this history today. Yeah, it's crazy, and he refuses to come back because of this, and I would want to come back if it was something like that, but man, the idea of a gay superhero is something that still today is very, very controversial, even with Green Lantern and all that. But back in the '90s, really, it was weird times. Well, I think I've taken up more than enough of your time today. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Power Rangers Week.